G'day everyone, my name is Nick Ryan, Australia's leading wine writer when judged by height. I'm the wine writer for the Australian newspaper, and I'm here today on a cracking Barossa morning with Jess Hill-Smith, sixth generation of the Hill-Smith family who have made this place, Yalumba, what it is, and Kevin Glastonbury, who's a senior winemaker who's responsible for many things here, but specifically for our purposes today, the man who drives the team that makes the Yalumba Caley. And we're here to look at the 2016 vintage of the Caley today in this fabulous old cellar at Yalumba. By looking at the 2016, we want to go back and tell the whole story of what has been one of the most exciting wines to emerge from this country in the last 10 years. I might just ask maybe you, Jess, a little bit about Fred Caley-Smith, and we know from the research that you guys have done here and through the archives that Fred was a man who travelled the world with an open mind and an inquisitive eye. So can you tell us a little bit about who he was?
Yeah, we had sort of no idea how important he was to the Yalumba story. He was the eldest son of the third generation of the Smith family. And as the eldest son, traditionally, you took over the business and ran the business until the next generation came along. But Fred's role in the business was a horticulturist. He looked after all the vineyards and orchards around the family farm. And he actually said to his father when it came time to sort of prepare for that handover, he said, I love what I do. I don't want to run the business, but I am really inquisitive about what's going on around the rest of the world. I'd love the opportunity to take our Yalumba wines and our wares to different markets around the world so I can learn more about my craft and take our Yalumba story to the world. Fred was a 27-year-old man in 1893 who asked his dad if he could take a 2-year overseas trip. His father, Sydney, said, I'll let you go as long as you make sure that you keep detailed records of everything that you're doing on this trip. So he sent Fred on his way. It was May 1893, and Fred got on a boat and sailed for 4 months over to the US. And he kept his word to his father and wrote detailed letters home every couple of weeks, 20-page letters back to back, detailing all the things he was observing, people he was meeting, things he was learning. So this was a huge part of our history that we had no idea about until it was our 150th birthday at Yalumba. So we celebrated 150 years of family winemaking in 1999. And we had to fix the staircase that went up to the top of the clock tower building here. And underneath that staircase, we found this box full of old letters that Fred had written home to his dad. And it just uncovered this whole colourful history, the story of this man that meant so much to the business that we just had no idea about. So to have this gift of a story that painted a picture of the life and times of what was happening in the world in 1893 to 94 over those 2 years, it gave us an opportunity to delve a bit deeper into what Fred did on that trip and why that meant so much to where we headed.
Yeah, and I think the world over the last 30 or 40 years has become quite used, take the last year and a half out of it, but has become quite used to Australian wine people knocking on the door and dragging the bag is the expression we use to go out and tell the story of their wares. But back when Fred was doing it, it's an unheard of journey, really.
It's an amazing journey, and I've said this to Jess a number of times because I have heard it a number of times. I don't ever get sick of hearing the story because living in Anguston now it's a couple of thousand people. Back then it was only a couple of hundred people. So for that person, Fred, to head out into the world would have been just crazy. How could he have done it? But he did it, and he wrote back.
It's not like there's a well-worn path that he can follow. No. He's the one that is, cold calling in a way, and shaping his own.
Very much cold calling and going to places that he would have heard about. And just walking in and saying, hi, I'm Fred from Australia. It's like, how crazy is that?
Fred from Anguston.
Yeah,
Where the hell is Anguston?